between being stuck and being ahead of almost everyone around you isn't talent, it's not luck, and definitely isn't motivation. It's habits. Not just any habits, but ancient ones. The kind practiced over 2,000 years ago by emperors, warriors, and thinkers who had to survive chaos, loss, and pressure far greater than anything we face today. And yet, their mindset still works. In fact, it works better today, because while everyone else is distracted, emotional, and reactive, you could be calm, focused, and in control. Today I'm going to show you 5 Stoic habits that if you actually apply them, will quietly put you ahead of 99% of people. And here's the thing, most people will hear this, feel inspired for a few minutes, and do nothing. So the real question is, will you? Let's start with the most powerful idea in Stoicism, and also the most ignored. You don't control most things. Not your boss, not the economy, not other people's opinions, not even what happens to you sometimes. But you do control one thing, your response. This is where 99% of people fall behind, because they spend their energy obsessing over things that they can't control. Why did this happen to me? What if people judge me? What if I fail? And while they're stuck in that loop, someone else, quietly, moves forward. Stoics had a simple rule. Divide everything into 2 categories. What you can control and what you can't. That's it. And once you do that, your life gets simpler instantly. Let me give you a real example. You post a video on YouTube. You can't control who watches it, whether it goes viral, what comments people will leave. But you can control the quality of your content, how consistently you post, whether you improve each time. And here's the shift. Instead of chasing outcomes, you focus on actions. Instead of needing validation, you build discipline. This one habit alone will separate you from almost everyone, because while they're reacting, you're executing. Once you master this, something interesting happens. You stop fearing failure, which leads us to the next habit. This one sounds strange at first, because it goes against everything modern self-help teaches. Instead of thinking positive, Stoics practiced something called negative visualization. They would regularly imagine things going wrong, losing their job, failing publicly, getting rejected, even losing people they loved. Now before you click off, this isn't about being pessimistic, it's about being prepared. Because here's the truth. Most people don't fail because something bad happens. They fail because they weren't ready when it did. But when you mentally rehearse challenges, you remove their power. Let's say you're scared to start something, a business, a YouTube channel, a new career. Instead of avoiding the fear, ask yourself, what's the worst that could realistically happen? Be honest. You might fail. You might look stupid. You might waste time. Okay. Now ask, can I survive that? And almost always, the answer is yes. And suddenly, that thing you were afraid of, it shrinks. This habit builds something incredibly rare, mental resilience. Because when things actually go wrong, you don't panic. You've already been there in your mind. Quick pause. If you're getting value from this, hit subscribe. Not because it helps me, but because it helps you stay consistent with ideas like this. Most people watch one video and forget everything. But the ones who change their life, they stay in the environment. Alright, back to it. Here's a hard truth. Comfort is making people weak. And Stoics knew this long before we had smartphones and food delivery, endless entertainment. They did something radical. They chose discomfort. On purpose. Taking cold baths, eating simple food, sleeping on the floor, going without luxuries. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to train their mind. Why? Because when you're used to comfort, even small problems feel overwhelming. But when you train yourself to handle discomfort, life feels easier. Think about it, if you can. Wake up early when you don't feel like it. Do hard work without motivation. Stay disciplined when it's inconvenient. You become dangerous in a good way. Because now, you're not controlled by how you feel, and that's rare. Most people wait until they feel like doing something. You won't. You'll just do it. Let's make this practical. You don't need to go live in the mountains. Just start small. Take a cold shower. Skip a meal occasionally. Go for a run when you don't feel like it. Sit in silence instead of grabbing your phone. Each time you do this, you send a signal to your brain. I'm in control. And over time, that builds unstoppable discipline. But even with discipline, there's something that can still ruin everything. Your emotions. which brings us to habit number 4. Let's be real. Most people are controlled by their emotions. They feel tired, so they stop working. They feel offended, so they react instantly. They feel doubt, so they quit. And they call it being human. But Stoics saw it differently. They believed, you don't control your first reaction, but you do control your second. That moment between stimulus and response, that's where your power is. Let's say someone criticizes you. Your first reaction might be anger, defensiveness, embarrassment. That's normal. But what you do next, that's everything. Most people react immediately. They argue, they lash out, they make things worse. But someone practicing Stoicism, they pause, they ask, is this true? And even more importantly, is reacting going to help? Sometimes the answer is no, and that's when you win. Because staying calm when others are emotional is a superpower. It gives you clarity, it gives you control, it makes you unpredictable in the best way. And over time, people notice. Not because you're loud, but because you're stable. Imagine two people in the same situation. Both get rejected. One spirals, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed. The other thinks, okay, what can I improve? Same event, different mindset, different future. Now all of these habits are powerful, but there's one that ties everything together, and almost nobody practices it. This is the one that changes everything, and it's not comfortable, but it's real. You're going to die. Not someday in theory, but actually. Your time is limited, and Stoics didn't ignore this. They remind themselves of it daily. Not to be depressed, but to be focused. Because when you truly understand that your time is finite, you stop wasting it. Think about how most people live. Endless scrolling, putting things off, waiting for the right time. But here's the truth. There is no perfect time. There's just now. And the more you delay, the less time you have. Memento mori forces you to ask better questions. Is this worth my time? Does this actually matter? Am I living the life I want? And once you start thinking like this, your priorities change. You stop caring about small things. You stop overthinking. You start acting. Imagine this. You're at the end of your life looking back. What will matter? Not the opinions of random people. Not the times you played it safe. Not the things that you were too afraid to start. What will matter is whether you actually lived. So let's bring this together. These 5 habits. Control what you can control. Practice negative visualization. Seek voluntary discomfort. Master your emotions. Remember your mortality. Individually, they are powerful, but combined, they are transformative, because they change how you think, and how you think determines everything. Your actions, your consistency, your results. And while everyone else is distracted, you'll be focused. While everyone else reacts, you will be deliberate. While everyone else waits, you will move. But here's the part most videos won't tell you. Knowing this isn't enough. You actually have to apply it. And that's where most people fall off. So don't try to do everything at once. Pick one habit, just one, and practice it this week. Maybe you start by only focusing on what you can control, or taking one cold shower a day, or pause before reacting. Small actions, done consistently, create massive change.